Hello, my dear ones. I'm on Iona. I've been walking from our pilgrimage house to our monastic house, and on the way back, I wanted to record a few words for you. But I struggled to walk and record and hold the microphone in the other hand and open gates and avoid sheep and all the treacherous dangers of life on a tiny island in Scotland. So I just decided to rest for 5 minutes while I talk to you. Before I actually get started, I have one announcement, a household announcement for the members of our online community. Just in case you've not received an email from us this week, please be aware that the Zoom meeting we are having this Saturday, as well as the follow-up Zoom meeting we are having this Lent, will be available for everyone. Interactive members, video members, everyone who signed up to be on our online community. So check your spam, or if you don't find our emails in there either, go and sign up into your online account and you'll find links to these meetings available there. Now, 2 days ago we had a meeting with a group of young people from a parish in England. And they had wonderful questions that can only come out of, young, beating hearts that are on fire. But I was left with this taste of deep anxiety and worry about the future that they have. And of course, there's nothing really to say beyond the fact that I fully understand both the worry and the anxiety. When I was young, there were some structures in place. You would graduate from university and you knew more or less what to expect of the world. That's no longer the case nowadays in very many and complex ways. But apart from confirming the fact that their anxiety is real and it is justified, which is very important, you have to own up to these things if they are real. Apart from that, what is really helping me, and I was trying to convey this to them, is to purposely shrink my life. And by my life, I mean the things that truly affect me and my community. And I don't mean that, bear with me for a bit, I don't mean that in a selfish way, where I no longer care for anything that happens beyond our community or beyond, our island and so on. I mean that in the sense that despite the care and despite the pain and despite still praying and doing what I can to help whoever we can help, I no longer search out information about the world. I allow God to act as a sieve for all of this. So of course I'm going to find out about things that happen in the United States, because most of our friends, most of our extended family, the extended family of our monasteries live in the United States. Of course I'm going to know things about Britain because we live here. Of course I'm going to know things about Romania and Russia and Ukraine because we have so many friends and people whom we love who are affected by what happens there. But I am not searching things out. I am just allowing God, through the people in our lives, to communicate to us those things that He knows I need to know. And once your life shrinks a little bit, once your life becomes a bit more manageable, then your anxieties will naturally disappear and melt away. You are still aware in a spiritual way of what happens in the world. You are still aware of the horrid things that are tormenting the world. But at the same time, because of this smaller, more manageable world, with its smaller, more manageable worries, you also retain a sense of peace. And this peace is essential precisely in order to be helpful to the world at large. Because if you think you are helpful while you are consumed by anxieties and worries like a cancer, if you think you are helpful while you internalize the anger and the hatred that rules the world around us, then you are really deluding yourself, my beloved one. Nothing that comes from anger, nothing that comes from hatred is in any way going to help anyone else, including yourself. One way or another, we need to find peace. Find peace, follow it. Hunt peace down, and once you have it, guard it like the greatest treasure. And then the prayer that comes from the midst of that peace, the prayer that is nourished by that peace, will, by the grace of God, be able to nourish and to help and to a great degree protect those who are in danger in the greater world. Let me move a little bit because I'm actually freezing here. I also am carrying a bag with me, so I'm like an old person moving from one side of the island to the other. In many ways, what I'm telling you is exactly the advice that Christians have received from the very beginning of time. We need to pray once we've found the peacefulness and the quietness of our hearts. Christ tells us to close ourselves in our inner chamber, which of course is a metaphor for our hearts. But everyone who have led on this path of Christian asceticism since Christ's time, everyone is advising us the same thing. Do you remember the advice of that father from the desert who told his disciple, even if you cannot pray, even if you cannot fast, even if you cannot keep vigil, just close the door to your cell and remain in your cell. Stay in your cell. Allow your cell, allow your room, basically, to teach you everything. And you will be taught everything just by secluding yourself to your cell. Think about that. Think about all the anchorites. Think about all the hermits. Think about all the stylites. Those people who lived their entire lives on top of pillars. Think about our own Celtic saints, the saints of these islands, who lived a great part of their lives isolated in tiny boats in the middle of the ocean. These people carried the world. It's their prayers that carried the world, not the prayers of those who were consumed by worrying and being anxious about the world, but the prayer and the love of these people who were hiding in the depths of the earth or in the desert or onto the waters of the ocean. It's their prayers, their love that sustained the world. I would much rather be, and I pray for you as well, I would much rather we all were simply humble enough to acknowledge that we cannot in any meaningful, practical way correct the world or change the world for the better. What we can do is enclose ourselves within the limits of our small lives and correct and better ourselves And once we are better, once we are closer to becoming the saints who God created us to be, then there is a chance, by the grace of God, that the prayer of those saints whom God created us to be might actually change the world as well, to the better. I don't know what else to say. This was on my mind, that it is a sign of pride almost, that we should allow ourselves to be consumed by worries and anxieties about things that we cannot change. When and if we can effect change, then of course be involved and do the best you can to change the world to the best, to the better. But when you can't do anything about it, all you're doing is you're allowing the anxieties of the world to feed your anger, to feed your hatred, and to compromise your chances and the opportunities given to you by God to slowly grow into the saint He created you to be. And trust me, and trust the tradition of the Church. It is only when we become the saints we were created to be, only then our prayer and our impact onto this world will no longer be a poison, but a blessing for the world, able to change the world to the better. That's it. It's not much, but it's all God gave me for you today. This and all my love in Him, my beloved ones. Amen, amen, amen.